Hi everybody and welcome back to another video. So this is quite a personal one, this one, because it's 15 years since Pixar's Ratatouille was released in cinemas, and this video is going to be talking about how much the film influenced my life and basically changed who I am. It's going to be me reflecting on how much the film influenced me when the film was released back in 2007 and continues to do so now after 15 years. So there might be just some moments of me just waffling on and on and on, but I think it's just something important to talk about because, you know, in life when people suddenly have these clicks and changes that totally transforms their personality and who they are, Ratatouille was that for me in so many ways. And when I go all the way back to 2007, that was the time when I left high school and things weren't great there. I really struggled during that particular time period because of, you know, not just how people were towards me, but just emotionally within myself. I struggled massively, and relationships and friendships weren't, you know, up to par compared to, say, normal people. That was something I really struggled with. So in many respects, a bit like the documentary Life Animated, it was film that I turned to at the time that became like a friend to me. And when I watched Ratatouille, it really just opened my eyes and it gave me a whole new perspective on life because, as I say, my mental health at that particular time was not great at all. And just the messages that the film conveyed really gave me that motivation to want to come back, so to speak, and build a whole new life for myself. And I was only 16 years old at the time, and I remember watching it in the cinema and just sitting afterwards with my family, just talking about how good that film was and, you know, just the messages that it just portrayed to me of how to understand and perceive the world and what I need to do to be able to rebuild a whole new life for myself. Because, like I say, I was only 16. I was struggling with social relationships and also just coming to terms with my own Asperger's diagnosis. And times were really, really tough for me back then. And just the characters and just the general message of the story really gave me that boot to be able to think, you know what, come on Sam, you can do this, you can go out and build something for yourself. And when you look back at characters like Remy, you know, he's a rat. You know, the odds are really stacked against him because he's someone who wants to be a chef. But of course, naturally, in our world, a rat being a chef is impossible. The message of the Remy character is that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And Remy's determination to want to become a chef and the path that he goes on in order to achieve his dream ultimately inspired me to go, if he can achieve that, then I can achieve what I want to achieve in life. And I know it's scripted and I know it's all cliched and theatrical and all that, but it was the emotional reaction that the film gave the audience, in this case me, to be able to go, yeah, you can do it. I think just being aware of my surroundings after that time period of when Ratatouille came out, that, you know, people can achieve their goals and people can gain confidence and people can, you know, become well, just build those relationships, and that's what it is. And sometimes people take different routes and different paths to be able to achieve that, and sometimes that's film, sometimes that's sport, sometimes that's reading books, sometimes that's using social media. In any form, that's what I think people look up to. And just the other characters as well. I mean, Anton Ego, I think he was the one who inspired me the most because he was someone who was very hard as nails because he was a very harsh critic, but the film really unveiled his true personality and really warmed him up. And it was that particular moment that still inspires me so much now when you hear his review, and it's just that monologue. They're some of the most powerful words I think I've ever heard in my life, and they still stick with me now. And at that particular time when the film came out in 2007, I remember then wanting to do film reviews. It was that moment that made me think, I love films, and this character wrote reviews. So I kind of thought, you know what? I'll do some film reviews. And I remember starting and signing up to a Flickster account, and it was something that really helped me build those social relationships, even though it's online. But I was able to gain more confidence by talking to people about films and also getting people to respond to my reviews of films. That would be rewarding to me, and it just helped me connect with the world. And that's what really helped me build those friendships and those relationships, because whenever I feel down in life, it's one of those films I just have to just put on the telly to just cheer me up and remind me that if you can come back from what you struggled with in 2007, then you can come back and, you know, face the challenge in the next coming day, weeks, months, or whatever. And I think when you're someone on the autistic spectrum, you don't always look to people to be inspired by. Sometimes you have to look to other things, some things that may not even be real. And that's what films are meant to be about, aren't they? It's like escapism, in which it just gives people a temporary time away from the world and to just go into a new one and experience something completely different. And yeah, at the same time, as I've mentioned with Ratatouille, brings up themes, conventions, characterizations and messages that are apparent in the real world anyway. When you familiarise yourself with a character and the messages that they present, then it's something that I just think, you know what, I can learn from that. And in many ways you go along with the ride, basically. Because in many ways, when people kind of express the similar traits of characters in their own lives, then that's how you learn about the world and the people that live in it. And it's ironic actually, because a portion of what my job is now, it involves working in a kitchen with students, and I wear, like, you know, the white jacket and the hat, and, you know, learning about those things. So there's a little subtle irony to it. And another irony is that I don't even like rats either. I can't stand them. It's not even about the fact that he wants to be specifically a chef. It's nothing to do with the cooking that inspired me. It's the messages and the characterizations and just the morals of those characters that just really uplifted a lot of things for me around that particular time. And when you're on the autistic spectrum, you do go kind of down a rabbit hole where things do just get repeated over and over and over again. And sometimes that's just a way of how people on the spectrum express themselves, and that's what I used to do with that film. And I just looked at the characters as like friends in some ways at that particular time, because when you're someone who at that time struggled with social relationships, you didn't know how to express yourself. And when you were at home and you were watching this film, you felt like you really could relate to these characters, and no one was going to judge you. No one was going to, you know, make fun of you or anything like that. And it was just those characters in that particular film that just gave me the tools to utilise in the real world. And in many ways, the film has been part of my life since it came out in 2007. And it's followed me since. So I guess you could say it was like an obsession, but at the end of the day, it was just something that was just a comfort for me, and it was something that really gave me a new perspective on life and the tools that I needed to be able to go and pursue a career, go and pursue friendships, relationships. Of course, now I'm with my wife, and, you know, be closer to my family. And that's what I think is really key, because sometimes when you're autistic, you kind of feel by yourself in many ways, because you have this kind of idea that people don't understand you, don't understand the social relationships that you struggle with, and, you know, the language barriers, you know, of being unable to express how you feel. Because I struggle with that now, even though I'm 31, it's something that I still struggle with every single day. And I think it's just a film that really hits home for me, really. And again, like I said earlier about the chefing and the food, it's nothing to do with the food. It's nothing to do with the fact that he wants to be specifically a chef or the fact that he's a rat. It's just the characterizations and the charm and the warmth that the characters bring. And credit goes to Brad Bird for writing such a beautiful story. And it is just a wonderful, wonderful film. So yeah, I think this is probably the most emotional that I've probably ever been in a video. And I just wanted to just talk openly about my experience. And I just want people to learn from something like this, whether you're autistic or not. I'd like to hear what other people think of this, and also to just find out what inspired you as well, whether it's a film, whether it's a sport, whether it's a particular passion of yours, or even if it's a particular family member or close friend that just gave you that pat on the back and that motivation to go, come on, you can do this, you can push through and become who you are. Who or what inspired you to be who you are? I'm really interested to find out this, so please let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you did want to enjoy this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more, and have a notification bell ticked so you're notified when I upload a new video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.